So I'm here at the Raceroom Experience booth, and we have a quite interesting new product from Simbin. Our viewers certainly know the company for their excellent simulations, and with me here is Diego, who will talk a little bit about this new game.
Yeah, well, as you said, Raceroom Racing Experience is what we are showing here today during Gamescom. What's running right here is a replay from within the game, showing off a first for us in the sense that it's hill climb. So, Raceroom Racing Experience is basically more than a game. It is an experience, hence the racing experience. For the first time, we are actually connecting our game to a community portal that is based on a persistent character. So that means you create your persona and you play as that persona for as long as you play the game. The whole basis of Raceroom Racing Experience is that it's free to play, which is a first for Simbin. The first thing that we're going to release is a teaser. After that is going to be a demo, and then the release of the game. And we're going to take it into, should we say, like an open beta to begin with, open for everybody. But
when is what is the schedule for those?
We're not communicating a clear date, but it's this year, and it's definitely sooner than later.
This year for the open beta or for the release of the game?
Well, for the open beta, that's coming this year. And that is essentially the start of the game's life. With that, the store will be there. You'll be able to purchase additional content, game modes, features, obviously tracks and cars.
If you compare this to previous titles, how does it compare physics-wise, audio, controls?
Well, physics, for this particular product, we are introducing something that we would call an immersive drive, which is basically a set of technologies and a methodology of how we want to do the physics. And that differs to some extent from what we have done before, both in terms of how we actually do the physics, but also how we approach the fact that there are going to be players that are going to look for a type of challenge, and there are going to be players that is going to be looking for a completely different type of challenge. Yeah. So we started building a physics, basically a physics set, we refer to as the amateur driving model, basically. It has driving aids built into it, but we do, like traction control, for example, right? But we do traction control sort of differently for this particular driving model. So it's made so that there is actually play in the car, and you can, work with the car. It's not just, like flat and boring. And at the same time, we knew that we had to make the game run and play well with a joypad, because most people have one. Next to that, we have a Get Real driving model, which is basically what you would expect from Simbin. It's a proper physics, and can be a really hard challenge. That has been interesting for us to formulate this sort of coexistence between the two driving models. They derive from the exact same set of physics. So it's not, we have not done, one set of physics for this and one set of physics for that. They derive from the same set of physics, but there is an overlay of driving aids and how the driving aids interact that makes them different. Yeah? So the menu system, now you're looking at an in-game replay. The menu system is based around, it's flash-based, it's based around a game navigator. And basically what we wanted to do was to come up with a menu system that first of all was ours. And it had to be ours, not a copy of or greatly inspired by. It had to be ours. And that we certainly have. And then we wanted it to be so that you could, from the moment that you get the urge to play or race, till you're actually there doing it, had to be super fast. So the menu system is basically designed in a way that with I think 2 or 3 clicks, from you double click the shortcut on the desktop till you're actually driving, that's 2 clicks with the mouse. We introduced, with this particular product, we introduced something that we call plug and race, which is basically that all you got to do when you get the game is install it, start it, either have your controller plugged in or plug it in after. The game will detect your controller and configure itself towards the controller. It was also important for us that the game would actually detect the hardware it's being played on and configure itself in a way that allows you to play the game without knowing, you know, driver settings on a wheel or, you know, what the resolution your desktop is running. The game needed to know all of this, so all you have to worry about is being able to press the button and just go play, right? And with the plug and race, we obviously support you know, multiple units or controllers being connected at the same time. You can create your own custom profiles. If you have separate shifters or one set of pedals, one set of one wheel and a different shifter, it supports that. We're using a new version of AI. It's still based on what we have done before, clearly. But on top of that, we have built an adaptive input, or basically an adaptive system that works in a way that between races, you do a race, you perform in a whatever lap time with that track and that car combination. Then that is stored, and that information is used by the game to create the strength of the AI for the next race. So basically what that means is, over time, you will have done laps on the different tracks that you have with the different cars that you have, and you will be racing with AI that matches your performance level. Whether you go faster or you hit a slump and go slower, they will be based around your performance. But it's not rubber band, it's not something that happens while you're playing. It's between one race and the next race. Much like you, when you do one race, you learn from that, and that you take with you to the next race. Same. The AI basically evolves with you. So I would guarantee you almost that you cannot outgrow the game. You will always have a nice and healthy challenge from the AI.
Now we see here like a kind of like a rally style race. Over there we have a track race, and I think I saw Formula kind of track or setup over there. So what kind of racing styles or what kind of racing can we expect from the game, and especially what kind of cars?
So yes, what you see there is a hill climb, and there are hill climb tracks available. What you see over there, that's Raceroom Raceway. That's actually a fantasy track that we built ourselves, and this is the track that is going to be available in the teaser. Now predominantly there is going to be licensed tracks that we know, but in this case, there is a fantasy track there, and there are going to be fantasy hill climbs. There are also going to be official hill climbs. When it comes to race cars, well, there's going to be GT-based cars from the different types, like GT3, GT2, GT1. We have an unrestricted GT type championship or class of cars, you know. There is a prototype cars like Le Mans prototypes. We're also showing off two fantasy cars that we have done. One is a Le Mans prototype type car, and the other is a classic race car, you know, a tin top, yeah. Well, Apex Hunt basically is it starts off with basically being a learning tool, teaching you how to perform one lap around a given track, because at the end of the day, track knowledge is the difference between having a good time and a bad time. So you have a ghost, a race line, and you have Apex markers. Then you have a win condition that is based on a target time and the amount of Apex markers that you pick up along the way. Now these are placed so that they actually make sense. They follow the ideal line, and they are placed in the apexes, hence why it's apex markers. Later, when multiplayer gets to become part of the experience, it's going to support 24 cars on the grid, and there is going to be support for team-based competitions there as well. So the teams that you have created, they are going to be carried into the multiplayer aspect when it comes. The multiplayer part of this particular experience is based on us providing you the servers. So we are setting up premium servers together with a partner, and through the interface of the game and the portal, you can basically get the experience that you want to have, or set up the experience that you want to have, and go and play multiplayer.
So yeah, you mentioned multiplayer already. What can we expect there? I mean, I think you mentioned something about race teams and stuff like that. How would that work?
Well, to begin with, the teams is basically in the portal. You can establish a team. So you and I can start the team, and you can drive for me. You can start a team, and someone else drives for you, or I drive for you. That's up to us. And basically, what happens is that you and I can enter a leaderboard-based competition as a team. And our performance is based on, you know, your time and my time put together, or it is your time deducted from, you know, my time, the slower time potentially.
All right, but sometimes races do get a little bit longer. You mentioned something about a 24-hour race, and of course you need day and night changes for that. Is that implemented in the game?
Well, just so we are clear, from the beginning, the longest race you can do in Get Real is an hour. Now you have tire wear, you have fuel use, you have heating, and obviously damage to your car. Also damage from abuse, not just collisions. Now, 24-hour racing is not supported by the game to begin with. And again, basically same consideration as with the rain. They are extremely expensive components to do right. And if we are implementing them into a game like this, it has to be done right. Rain has to be, you know, out of this world. 24-hour racing has to incorporate anything. Animated pit stops, strategies, tire wear, damage, weather, day, night, it all has to be there. Now the tech foundation supports it, so it's not that we cannot do it. It's just, it's not the right thing to do from the beginning. Now when it will happen and how it will happen, that you will know about later.
A couple of questions came up. One of them was damage model. Do you have anything there?
Yes, I mean, if you're playing the amateur driving model, then damage is only visual. But if you're playing Get Real, then well, you can either choose to have damage or not. You can have it visually only, or actually affect the performance of the car. And yes, you know, we have deformation, we have detachable parts and so on. So I mean, it's a step up from what we have done before. But I can also say that you should not expect, you know, debris everywhere and parts flying, and you know, it's at a sensible level. We don't want to get in trouble with the licensors first and foremost. And at the same time, you know, if you crash your car heavily, that's more or less game over. You know, so we think we have found a nice balance between the, shall we say, all-out destruction of the car and what we think is, you know, sensible damage.
All right. Another question: weather system. Do you have anything there in place?
No, we don't. I'm not saying it won't be there, but to begin with, we will only have a dry setting, and there are many reasons for that. One is that, you know, for the let's say if you have your casual gamer far to the left, and you have your hardcore racer far to the right, then for those around the middle, left and right of the middle, for those, rain is not the challenge that you want to have. Because with rain, if you want to do it right, rain affects handling. It affects your approach with in terms of car setup and stuff like that. Obviously, tire choice and strategies. And it, you know, so all of a sudden, that component makes the game a completely different experience and challenge. And you know, we think that you gotta crawl before you can walk and run, and so we keep it basic, but at the same time, we also know that, you know, for most people, you know, the standard length of a race is no more than 10 minutes. So what we want to do is make sure that those 10 minutes are the best 10 minutes you can have. But, you know, rain is not, it's not gonna happen, just not from the beginning.
Take your hobby to the next level with a quality racing rig that works great with a PS3, Xbox 360, and a PC. The GT Omega Racing Simulator is compatible with a wide range of steering wheels, including Logitech, Fanatec, Thrustmaster, and more. The GT Omega is available now worldwide by going to www.gtomegaracing.com.
Let's talk about then the presentation, for example. I see here we have a cockpit view, and there we have like the third-person following view. So I suppose you can switch between those. What views do you support in your game?
Well, correct. We obviously have cockpit, hood cam, nose cam, and a chase cam. But it's your, classic setup. You can adjust the different cameras. You can adjust to suit you. So like in the cockpit, you can change your seating position a little bit to get the right view or the position that you would want to have. The game starts in cockpit to show you the cockpit and to get you that type of immersive experience. But as soon as you come out of the pits and you cross the pit limit line, you exit the pits, it goes to your preferred camera. Well, the replay system for Raceroom Racing Experience, we have basically each track has signature corners or signature areas. Corkscrew at Laguna Seca or Eau Rouge at Spa, or you name it. Most tracks have their signature corners. So what we have done is we have treated these signature corners or highlight areas of the tracks. They have anywhere between 5 and 7 different camera sets. So when you do watch a replay and you watch it with the director camera, then even if you watch the same lap 10, 15 times, you're gonna get a different experience, because what's it gonna do? What it is gonna do is basically randomly choose between these different camera sets for these specific areas of the track. So you watch a lap and you go like, here is a chase cam or a panning cam or a curb cam or whatever. Next lap the next lap when you come to the same corner, it's going to be a completely different camera. So that means that watching races, whether it's against the AI or it's one lap you have been pushing hard to do a #1 on the leaderboard or whatever, the game presents itself in a really, really interesting way, and the dynamics of the replay and the sounds makes it absolutely stunning to just sit and watch replays, as you saw with the replay in the beginning.
Now you mentioned earlier to me, before the interview, that there are public race rooms available throughout or all over the world, basically. How does that work, and where can we find one of those rooms?
There are race rooms here in Germany. There is one at the Nürburgring, in the Experience Center. There is a race room in Dubai. There are in Copenhagen. The one is currently opening in New York. They're all over the world. And when you go there, now if you were to go there today, this is not the software you're going to be playing. You're going to be playing the current race room software. Now, as I said, the long-term plan with this is that this is the software you're going to be playing later. But basically, you go there, you get an R card, and with the R card, you create again a persona or a profile, and on that profile you store your points. You can go in, you with your friends, set up an event just as you want it with a touch interface. You do dictate the type of cars, the tracks and everything. You have fun. You race. When you're done racing, you know, you have a printout of the results of the race. Your performance is stored on a database and shown on the leaderboards and so on. Now again, as I said, the current software has limitations. Hence why we want to introduce the new software. When the new software is there, then you can go into a race room, play this game, using this software, interact with your portal, your persona on the portal, and everybody else on the portal. Then all of a sudden, you know, if you do not have a system like this, or a powerful computer, or even a mediocre computer to play the game on, you can always go to a race room if there is one near you. Now the portable race rooms, they are, you know, there are small ones. We have micro-sized race rooms, and we have very big race rooms that we can take anywhere. And the same thing is there. You have your card, or you get a card if you don't have one. Sign in with that and you race. Works exactly like the fixed locations. In America, for those in America, there is one in Fresno, a very, very, very nice race room in Fresno. You know, you go there, you do your race. If you have your card and you go to a racetrack or to an event where there is a portable race room, you can use the card there. You just sit, check in. It knows your name and everything. Just sit and play. With this particular software, when that's ready to go into the race rooms, stuff like your settings, your preferred, you know, profiles for the wheel, car setups and stuff can be stored on the card. You place your card in the reader and you have everything. You're logged in, signed in. It's you playing it as you would at home. Yeah.
Sounds great. Now, the basic game is, of course, for free, as you mentioned. How much do you have already price indication for the extra stuff?
Yes, but we have chosen not to communicate the prices. What I can say is they're going to be reasonable and affordable, and we're pretty comfortable that the small amount that we're going to be asking is not going to deter people from buying content.
All right, so if I log in, and I suppose then, is the profile stored online, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's stored online.
And does it also mean that I do have an internet connection to play this game?
Yes. You have to have an internet connection, and you have to have Steam, because Steam is a big part of this particular project. They are taking care of content management, and actually the way that we do work with Steam and their backend systems and our own backend systems means that we can do things that at least so far we have not seen others do, is that we can actually lend you a car, for example, or we can lend you a track. When we do competitions online, there will be competitions where you can actually enter without owning the car. So we borrow you the car for the duration of the competition. When the competition's over, if you had a good time with that car, well, then you can go and buy it.
All right, and I guess with the way of how you set up this distribution system, incorporating or taking in Steam and everything, I guess adding new features is easier for you to do than if you had a standalone boxed version, so to speak.
Well, to be perfectly honest, you know, for us, free to race, that's what we like to call it, was the only sensible solution for the reasons that you judge yourself and for many others. But today's market, you know, you want to have some sort of control of the experience that you're going to get. And at the same time, as you just touched, what we have done in the past was, you know, we released expansions or small updates. It became confusing. There were compatibility issues related to that. You know, it didn't make sense. So yes, with this, once you have the game installed, access to new content, access to new features, updates, new functionalities within the portal or the game, they're right there at your fingertips. And you know, we see this as a world of motorsports at your fingertips. Now, we are just getting started. This is a long-term commitment from us So there is lots more to come, both in terms of gameplay, features and functions, and content.
So I guess the extra content is linked to your persona or to your profile, and it's available wherever I log in. What happens if I'm in a team and somebody else wants to join? They all have to have the same content?
No, I mean, for multiplayer, the fact that we control your access to the content means that we do not have problems with incompatibility in multiplayer. So you can be in a race seeing cars that you don't have. That's not a problem. And the same, you know, as I said, if there are competitions, you want to enter the competition, but you don't have the car. If that particular competition is set up so that they will borrow you the car, then it's no problem. You will borrow the car and have access to it. And yes, the content belongs to you. So as long as the game is on a machine and you log in, you'll have all your content. In terms of how we inject content, you know, on day one, the game is going to be there and there's going to be content for you to purchase. And then we are injecting new content into the system at a regular rate. So that, you know, we try to keep it interesting and broad, you know. And there are some gems coming. There are some interesting things like some old classics, some cars that we have not done before. Also, for now we have a release schedule of features and functions and content that takes us well into next year. But at the same time, we are going to monitor how people are using the game, and obviously target additional content and additional game modes and features towards, you know, where the main interests are. That's not stopping us from injecting stuff that we know might not have the broadest interest, but it might be something that we want to have, you know, for strategic reasons or partnerships with brands or whatever. But at the end of the day, you know, we have to try and deliver an experience that matches the expectations of the users, right?
All right, final question. Where can I get the software?
You can get the software on Raceroom.com or Simbin.com or through Steam. Once you have the teaser, then you don't need to do anything more. It will update to the demo when the demo is ready, and the demo will update to the full game when that's ready. So once you have the software, you don't have to worry about anything.
All right, cool. Well, Diego, thanks for the introduction, and enjoy the rest of the show.